Hey guys, it's Tuesday of the following week and you may not be wondering, but some of you might be wondering what happened with the vlog last week because I've been pretty consistent. Up until Thursday, everything was great. And then Friday, I was visiting my sister-in-law and some things went on in like my family, not like my little tiny family, but like in my family. And then later on that evening, some more stuff went down. I don't want to say too much, but I don't like feeling, I don't know how to explain it. I don't want to feel like this is like a dirty secret. Like I feel like what's been going on, and I'll explain in a second, but like what has kind of been going on, and it's been something that like my family's dealt with for over 20 years now, like a long time. But before, it always felt like this dirty little secret, these things that no one talked about, these things that we didn't share, and I'm not going to share all like the details because that's not fair to the person I'm talking about. But we had to do something really hard this weekend. So I don't know if you guys remember back in December, I think I posted a vlog a little bit before Christmas, and I said I was really excited to see someone that I haven't seen in a really long time, and that person is my brother. So I used to have two brothers. One passed away in 97, and the other brother has, I mean, he's been through a lot, and I don't want to like say too much or anything too personal or whatever. But anyway, he had moved away for around 12 years, and for that time he was hard to reach, to say the least. We were always worried about what was going on. We've always sensed he's had some kind of like a mental health issue, but because of the way everything is set up, there was really nothing we could do. Like he doesn't like to talk about things. That's mainly like a big barrier thing. So he doesn't like to talk, and he doesn't process emotions well, especially about certain touchy subjects and things. So anyway, this past weekend, things went to a place where it was really unfortunate that they went there, but positive because he's in a safe place now and he's in like a safe environment. But it was really hard. I had to go to a meeting with my parents and things, and I don't want to say, again, I don't want to say too much. I don't want this to be like an embarrassment thing. I'm not, or a judgment thing or anything like that. I just feel like I kind of want to tell you like why I don't feel very peppy this week, and hopefully like my mood starts to go up again. But the last like 4 days have just been like shit hitting the fan, and it just sucked. And I know it's the disease that was like hating me, but man, there were some things, and it was just not a good time, and I just like couldn't pick up the camera. I didn't want to say anything while I was in like the throes of all of the emotional stuff because I didn't want to overshare or anything like that. What I did want to say was, if there is someone in your life who needs help and you're doing everything you can to help them, and I know how hard it is, and I don't really have any advice, but just know I have so much compassion and sympathy for you who are going through being on the outside of the issue. And I also, if you're struggling with mental health, I also have so much empathy for you as well, because I know that he is so like upset about the situation that he's in, and he just can't see that this is the best thing at the moment. But I just wanted to let everybody know, if you're dealing with someone like that, I know how heartbreaking it is, and I know how hard it is, and it's really sent me for a loop. Like this weekend was just not a good time. Yeah, it was a bad scene. So that's all I'm gonna say, because I don't want to embarrass anybody or anything. I feel like this kind of stuff shouldn't be a dirty little secret, and it shouldn't be, well, you don't have to tell everything. It shouldn't be like, it's part of my life too at this point. Like it's affecting me, and so I feel like I also need to process things from my own angle and whatnot. Now, getting into the reading vlog part and a happier note, I did finally get some reading done last night, and I actually finished Winter of the World this morning. It was really good. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I gave the first one 5. The first one, it grabbed me from the beginning. I was gripped from the beginning, and I just absolutely fell in love with everything. And I felt like the characters that were bad were like really bad, like, oh, it just like irked me. And then the characters that I loved, I really loved. And now with this one, I would say Lloyd is probably my favorite character. I loved Lloyd's character, and I love his family. I loved Carla and her family, and another character, I don't want to say too much, but there's another character in the book who I absolutely loved, and this person had such like a big character arc and like development. I really loved that, and I don't want to spoil anything. I just want you to know like all that good stuff is totally in there, but I felt like when I finished this book, I was left wanting, like, I think I wanted it to pull my emotions a little bit more. Like, it definitely did, and there were definitely things where it did pull my emotion, but it was just like, when I was thinking about the first book versus this one, I just didn't get kind of that same, like, oh my gosh, like, moment or something. But that being said, this is 900 pages, and I still really did, I did love it. It was really good. I just ended up, like, I would say this is like 4.5, but I ended up dropping it down just because the first one was just so stinking good. And then, I don't want to like down talk this one. I still recommend this one because it follows children of the people in the first book. But I am excited to, I don't know when I'll start this. I don't plan on starting it right away because it's like, if you guys saw my TBR this month, it was huge, book size huge. But I do want to start Edge of Eternity at some point. But I probably won't put this one on a strict TBR. I'll just like not skim it, what am I saying? I will just like read it slower, kind of like I did the second one, because I am also, you guys know, I'm also working on Way of Kings. I have not picked up Way of Kings since last week, since like Wednesday or Thursday, I think. But I am, like, what did I get to last week? I'm still just shy of 300 pages. So I did read a good chunk of this, but another thing I want to do today is my bookshelves, and I'm not going to film that because it'll probably take me a while, but now my shelves are small. This is my bookshelf right now, and obviously you can see it's a rainbow, and I really love the rainbow, but I'm getting kind of irritated that the books that are in series are out of order in the rainbow, and I really want them all together, specifically Game of Thrones. That's really throwing me off. It's really bugging me, but also that Century trilogy I just told you about. I just kind of want things together now, and also the Illuminae files, once I get to them, I want them all together. So I think I'm gonna just leave my TBRs, because my room is a disaster, I'm sorry. But this is my one TBR shelf, and then this is my other one. And I probably won't touch those ones because I don't really care about those specifically, but once they make it to the bookshelf behind me, I would like them to be in order. And I think I'm also gonna go by genre, which I have not done. Alright guys, I am having issues with my batteries. I don't know what's going on. Sometimes they charge, sometimes they don't. They must be like on their way out. I'm just gonna really quickly show you what I did with my bookshelf and kind of explain really quickly what I did. This is what the shelf looks like now, and ignore down there, I need to do stuff with that. Alright, so the beginning here is all nonfiction and like memoirs, biographies, all that stuff. And all this stuff, or almost all of it, is stuff that I've read. I'll show you which stuff I haven't really quickly. And then the next little portion are the classics that I've read. Really need to grow that part of the shelf. And then I have the next little section is historical fiction, which you guys know I love historical fiction. I'm still debating whether or not to keep the books I don't like. I'm not sure. We'll see. But anyway, historical fiction, and then I just kind of kept going down here, so that's the rest of the historical fiction, and then the contemporary starts. This is literary fiction, I think. I don't really know if it counts as contemporary or not, but like I said, I don't want to like micromanage everything, so it's there. I don't know if it's going to stay either, because like, I just don't know if I want to keep books I don't like. We'll see. And then I put all of Bachman's books together, just because they're all, this one isn't really a contemporary, but I didn't want to stick it somewhere else. So all of this stuff is contemporary, and then we get into fantasy, and I put these this way because they took up less space this way, but I think there's 2 more books, so they'll have to be rearranged at some point. And then down here I have, oh yeah, and this one I haven't read. And then down here I've read these 3 and I need to get to these 3. I'm partway through this one, but I wanted to make sure that they fit, and I need to get the 3rd book that's out. And then I have like the magical realism, and then I went into like the dystopian kind of thing, and then the thrillers slash like mystery stuff is just at the end here. I just really quickly threw that all together. It seemed to be how my brain wanted to organize everything. I feel like it had like a flow kind of. Obviously, as I move things from like my TBR spots to here, everything will kind of move down the shelf. But for now, I'm super happy with how the shelves turned out. Gave me like a little bit of like, I don't know, it was like relaxing to do. It was something I just like had Peruse Project Reagan's reading vlog on while I did it. It was like very nice, relaxing, almost hour because that was a long vlog. Hey guys, it's Friday. The sun is shining. It is humid. My curls are making a comeback after hibernating most of the winter. We were outside for hours today. You can probably tell I have definitely got some sun. It is so nice out today. I don't even know what temperature it is, but it's super sunny. It's super nice. Owl has just been playing around in the yard, and I went outside with the intention to read. Read a little bit, got into an Instagram, YouTube spiral. Anyway, we're back inside because I needed a break from the heat. But I wanted to update you guys really quick on the Spies of Shilling Lane. I am about 40% done. And honestly, it's going by really quickly. Like, I read the first 25% the first night. I read a little bit more last night, a little bit more today. And I will be reading more in a couple minutes. But I have to say, it's not what I was expecting. Did you bring up the water? Yeah. Ooh, ice cubes and everything.
I just measured some 2 ice cubes because they fell.
You did?
Yeah.
Alright, go to bed, okay?
Okay.
I love you. I am about 40% done in The Spies of Shilling Lane. And it's, I feel bad, but it feels like, so Mrs. Braithwaite, she starts out as like your typical kind of busybody, thinks she's better than everyone else kind of person. And then she meets this guy who is like super timid and like also kind of just like stereotypical, like your timid guy. And then of course, like, not trying to like be spoiler or anything, but like obviously she learns or realizes that she has a heart, and you know, he realizes that he's got some courage, stuff like that. But essentially, this woman, Mrs. Braithwaite, goes to London because there's some family secret that one of her neighbors is holding over her head that her daughter doesn't know. So she goes to London to tell the daughter the secret because she just decides she must do this. And then when she gets to London, she realizes that her daughter's missing and has been missing for like, I don't know, 4 days or something like that. And so she just decides she's going to stay at the house that her daughter was staying in and try and find her. And we're 40% through the book. And obviously, I don't even know how to say this. The mom finds the daughter, and then somehow they get separated, and it's becoming this like cat and mouse game, like where you know what's going on, but the characters don't. And that, I mean, sometimes it works, but in this case, I'm like, why are you guys being so like childish? Like, it just, and the dialogue is kind of juvenile sounding without, like, I don't want to rip this book to shreds or anything. I don't know how it's gonna end up or what's going on. And then the daughter has this like love interest that you keep getting these random like, ooh, she's got butterflies in her stomach and she knows what that is. And it's just, I feel like there isn't a lot of emotion or something in the book. Hey guys, it's Sunday night and I wanted to quickly update you and finish out this week's vlog. So the Spies of Shilling Lane did not go well for me. By the time I hit around the 75% mark, 80% mark of the book, I definitely started skimming, which you guys who know me by now know that skimming is not something I often do. Everything seemed really predictable, and just like the characters were so, I just couldn't. Like, I feel like all of these characters could have been done in a way that they were likable. Like, it's not like I just absolutely hate like the trope of like mean person develops heart, turns into nice person. I actually kind of love that trope, but it can be super cheesy. And I felt like this book did a lot of like, and then they did this, and then they thought this, and then this. And so it's a lot of like you just kind of seeing these things happen, but not experiencing the things happening, if that makes sense. And then the other thing was, I just couldn't handle that a large chunk of the book involved two people who weren't in danger, except both of them thought the other person was in danger, and so they were putting themselves in danger to find the other person who wouldn't be in danger if they weren't looking for the other person. Now tell me how frustrating that sounds, because it's super stinking frustrating, and that's a big chunk of the book. And then about 80% of the way through, everything feels like it wraps up, and then throughout my skimming, there was like this random little twist, which like, cool, but by the time we got there, I just wasn't interested anymore. And then by the end, there was some more predictable things that happened, and I feel bad. I ended up giving it 2 stars because there were the odd parts that I didn't absolutely hate. Like, the writing wasn't absolutely awful, it just like wasn't enough of something. And then there was this other random part where it says something about them staying up all night, and the light starts peeking through the windows or streaming through the windows, and then someone says it's after 2, like 2 a.m. And I'm thinking, like, since when does the sun come up at 2 a.m.? I skimmed the last like 20% because I just like couldn't, like, I just didn't want to read it anymore. And even my husband was like, why are you doing this to yourself? And I'm like, because I need to finish. But I ended up just skimming the end to find out what happened. But there was so much stuff that just didn't need to be there. I just couldn't do it. But since we have about 6 days left in the month, I still haven't picked up The Way of Kings in a couple days. I will go back to that for sure. But I did decide to pick up The Last Time I Saw Paris. And as far as I know, this is a romance, which you guys know isn't always my thing. But I feel like it's just, I'm really picky about my romances. Like, I think that's more it. Like, I have to really be invested in the main character, enough for me to care if they even have a love interest, like that sort of thing. So I don't think it's so much that I just don't like romance, because I definitely love a really good romance. It just has to be like my kind of romance, if that makes sense. Anyway, so far I'm only, how far am I? 50 pages in, actually, so it's going by really fast already. So essentially in this story, there's a girl who goes by Claire, and her real name is Clara May. This is all stuff that you find out in the very beginning, so I think it's okay to say. Anyway, she's a farmer's daughter. She comes from a really poor farm, and her dad is really abusive as far as I know. And then, so she goes to New York City, and she ends up adopting a new name. So she goes by Claire Harris instead of Clara May Wagner. Anyway, very few people know her secret and know that she's actually from a poor family and that this is a fake name. And you get the gist of the fact that she's in kind of a crappy marriage. Someone shows up at her house and threatens to like out her secret, and her husband is the kind of person who would not be happy if he found out who she really was. So she flees to Paris for this other like love interest, and when she gets there, they don't see eye to eye, and she ends up getting a job at a flower shop, which sounds kind of random, but the way that the author did it, I liked it, and I love flower shops. There is a shop in the city that I am from, And the lady who owns the flower shop and who runs the flower shop is the sweetest, and I love making flower arrangements when I do photography stuff. I actually do like a bouquet basket where I put flowers like around the basket and then the newborn goes in the middle, and oh my gosh, it's so cute. But I am loving it so far. Like, I can't even explain why. I don't know if it's even that extra special, but I like the main character so far. My daughter's middle name is Claire, so I love her name, Claire. And I just love the atmosphere of being in a flower shop. She's in Paris, and I am definitely intrigued to see where it's gonna go and what's gonna happen. And I just think it's gonna be really sweet, and I hope that I really love it. Anyway, I am gonna end the vlog here, and I will catch up with you guys next week. Hopefully finish off this one. I did not get a chance to film anything, so hopefully I have a Thursday video, but I am not sure. I need to film some more so that I have some more Thursday videos for you guys. Anyway, I will talk to you all soon. Thanks so much for watching.